Hello Motorrider World fans and welcome to Paddock Talk, talking MotoGP Sepang race day Sunday. I wouldn't say the most thrilling and entertaining race, but certainly tense race of the season. It was just tense the whole weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you could just feel the tension in the pits, on the riders, out on track, off track, the team managers. There's just this tension and rightfully so. It's heading into the last race of the season. We couldn't have asked for a more exciting MotoGP season. It's down to the wire between Pecco and Fabio Quartararo at Valencia. Pecco Bagnaia, one hand and four fingers on the trophy now after that fabulous win. It was a good race. Listen, it was a very mature, calm, collected race by Pecco Bagnaia. He was cool as ice. I was losing my cool. Every time he went into the slow corners a little bit out of shape and sideways, I was just picturing that front end tucking. I was stressing a lot more than he did, and he came under a lot of pressure from Enea Bastianini. I've seen a lot of people on social media going on about Ducati team order. I don't think there were Ducati team orders. I think Enea Bastianini, and he came out afterwards and he said he was trying everything he could to pass Pecco, but it was impossible. I think he went for it. And credit to Pecco Bagnaia. Once Enea Bastianini got ahead of him, I thought that's it. Enea's clearing out now. I think Pecco, I think Pecco dug deep and he wanted to win that race. I really do. I don't think there were any team orders involved. I think Pecco won it fair and square. Enea really pushed as hard as he could and just couldn't get the move done on Pecco Bagnaia. So yeah, hats off to Pecco Bagnaia, because there was a lot of pressure. I said I was going to be interested to see how he handles the pressure now that he's at the top of the championship. All the pressure's on him, and he didn't crack. Looked like he cracked a couple of times over the weekend with a couple of crashes. Qualifying didn't go fantastically well for him, but what a start. And that kind of set up his whole race for Pecco Bagnaia. When you get a start like that, the confidence was just brimming. He made good early passes, got himself right up at the front, and that kind of set the tone for the rest of his race. So it was brilliant. Speaking of starts, how was Darryn Binder? 24th on the grid. He was 13th on that first lap. Got up to 12th, then was eventually up to 11th. A couple of laps in 11th. I thought, this is brilliant. This is perfect for Darryn. Dropped a couple of positions to 14th. Miller, Zarco, Aleix, those kind of guys got past him. And then unfortunately, just sounded like, from what I hear from the paddock, is some brake problems, some brake fade problems. He's complained once or twice this year about braking issues, and it caught him out again, and unfortunately crashing out of 14th, another point scoring position there for Darryn. But a lot more positives to take out. Friday he battled, Saturday bad luck, and to make that start and run up with those guys for, what was it, 10, 11 laps, however many laps he ran, right up in the sharp end, close to that top 10, was a lot of positives to take there from Darryn Binder, who, let's hope, can have a little bit of change of luck for his final MotoGP race for now. I'm hoping, I think it's very much one step back, two steps forward, the move to Moto2. I think he's going to go back to Moto2, shine next season, shine the following season if it is a 2-year deal, hopefully become Moto2 World Champion and go up into MotoGP as a stronger rider and with a better chance at showing his true potential in MotoGP with a better package and a better team. Pecco, as I said, the start from 9th to 2nd. Fabio Quartararo as well from 12th to 6th. Brad from 13th to 10th. That was another highlight. Jack Miller didn't get the start that he wanted, and he must go down as one of the rides of the day, because at one stage he was outside the top 20. I think he dropped to like 21st or 22nd, and he came through and he finished 6th overall. So I made a note of that Jack Miller, brilliant ride, because tough weekend for him as well. Didn't get the start, and then eventually found his way even ahead of Marc Marquez at the end there. So brilliant stuff for him. Another Ducati rider, Luca Marini, unfortunately DNFing out of his 37th GP race. And this is another problem. We've seen it a couple of times this year with rear ride-out devices and front start devices not deactivating. And he launched off the line and had to pull in the pits after the first lap because his front-end launch device did not deactivate. So a couple of malfunctions this year with these ride-out devices and that, and, question marks, because it got to come down to a safety thing at the end of the day. We saw that rear ride-out device with Maverick Vinales at Sachsenring going into that fast left-hander where it just collapsed at the back, and it could have ended a lot worse. So, yeah, still big question marks over this. all these devices and stuff. We can talk about that for hours, and we'll talk about it again. Talking MotoGP live Monday night, Motor Rider World Facebook page live from 8 p.m. South African time. Aleix Espargaro and Maverick Vinales, I just made notes here of them. Just looked out of it the whole weekend. Looks far from the Aprilia team that we saw, the first half of the season, certainly, where Maverick went on that run as well of podium finishes. Aleix was a top title contender. They've just lost something. And I think it's confidence, to be honest. I think Maverick is digging himself into a hole of that Yamaha hole that he was in. Watched his debrief after the race today, and he just said after Misano, there's been nothing. I couldn't even ride inside the top 15. So yeah, I just want to go home and rest. And he just doesn't look bothered. He doesn't look motivated, blaming the team. And I'm sure the team also realized that there are problems, but you got to fix them together. It's not just the team's problem. So yeah, I've pointed it out the last couple of weekends that Maverick's attitude just doesn't look good. Aleix said, it's been a fantastic year and happy, disappointed they've fallen off a cliff in many ways, and they've really, their title challenge has just diminished towards the end, but they can still be proud of what they've done. And Maverick's approach and mentality just looks the complete opposite. So going to be interesting to see if, how the team deal with Maverick and how Maverick deals with everything that's going on, because it looks like Maverick's falling into that same Yamaha Maverick as before. Marc Marquez, it was a brilliant qualifying, but we knew it was going to be a hard race for him, and it really was. Once he was up in that fourth place, or fourth or fifth ahead of the likes of Mir, Rins and everyone. But when he was kind of leading the group, he just had no pace. As soon as Rins got past him, he kind of could hang in there a little bit more, and then it just fell off the end of the earth. There's only so far you can push that Honda. So signs that's still not perfect. It's been a good last couple of races for Marc Marquez, but today was another sign that there's still a lot of work to be done for Marc Marquez and that Honda indeed. So again, some positives to take. I think we saw a glimpse of the old Marc Marquez coming, where you could override on problems and getting out of shape and an end. Bit more fitness, bit more confidence in the bag there for Marc, and looking forward to Valencia, no doubt, and certainly the preseason testing heading into 2023 to try and make as much improvements on that Honda as they possibly can. Jorge Martin, the outstanding pole position man, got the launch that he wanted. I thought, here we go, this guy's just going to check out, Maybe tyre wear would have come in towards the end, but certainly would have been in the mix for the top three with Pecco and Anaya towards the end. Unfortunately, crashing out. He had a 1.2 second lead and was just pushing the pace too much, and unfortunately crashing out. So this is the big problem for Martin. He's win it or bin it type attitude. Okay, Phillip Island, he did well. He finished fourth, or fifth, just not too far away from the win. But he's either on the podium or he's fourth or fifth, or as we saw at Red Bull Ring when he was fighting for that third, he's quite happy to throw it away. He's quite happy to just push the limits to the point of crashing. So that's something he's got to dial in. Him and his management are going to have to say, listen, you've got the speed. We know you've got the speed. You have to dial it back a little bit more race management, a little bit more management in terms of pace and tires and everything. But still, take nothing away from the new all-time lap record holder at Sepang, a 157.7. It was absolutely fantastic. Then it was between Pecco and Anaya pretty much, and it certainly looked like Anaya was getting held up by Pecco in those early stages. He made a brilliant move on the inside. I just felt the tension. I could just picture Anaya going on the inside, tucking the front and taking Pecco out, and just visualizing Tardozzi and Ciabatti and everyone just ripping holes into that Ducati paddock and running to Cressini and burning it to a crisp and loading their bikes and taking them away. But it never happened like that. The tension, you saw Gigi Dell'Igna and Ciabatti and everyone just in and out of the pits on pit wall, talking, whispering, what are we going to do? And it's a big decision for them. Listen, I know there's this team orders, and I know a lot of people don't like team orders. I'm also not a huge fan of it. Anaya Bashanini and Pecco have both come out, with their own views on team orders as well. The fact is, what are Ducati supposed to do? They've put all those resources in. They're going for their first world title in 15 years. They lost out last year when they should have won it. It's a tough one. I can understand why they would want team orders. That's why you have 8 bikes out there to really have the upper hand, to have that ace under your sleeve. They didn't use it today. As far as from what I could see, there were no Ducati team orders. Enea Bastianini rode his heart out, and he just couldn't beat Pecco. Pecco just was sublime in my mind. But I loved it that Bastianini passed, Pecco Bagnaia passed back. Once Bastianini got to the front, I thought, was Pecco just going to sit there? He passed back, so credit to him. Credit to him. Brad Binder just behind them, got the start, pushed early on, and then just ran out of rear tire. In his debrief afterwards, he said he's really, really disappointed. He looked disappointed because, it was a big kickback after all the progress that they've made the last couple of rounds. This is what happens with KTM. Progress, kick in the face, kick in the teeth. And that's what happened this weekend. Still some positives to take again, but yeah, certainly way off the pace from where they wanted to be, and Brad just couldn't fight. 13th to 8th, another good kind of salvage job, the best out of a bad situation again, but nowhere near where Brad Binder and the KTM wants to be. I just loved how the Ducati management were just walking up and down the pits there it was. Then that battle for the final podium position, Marco Bezzecchi, Ducati were rubbing their hands together when he was closing down on Fabio Quartararo. But again, if I had a hat on, I'd take it off. Fabio Quartararo, Pecco Bagnaia's got to go down as rider of the day because he won the race. But in my eyes, Fabio Quartararo, to drag that Yamaha into third place with everything that happened, the injury to his left hand, to his finger, to the disappointment of losing the championship, to the fact that he knows he's just not on a level as the Ducatis with that Yamaha. It's nowhere near. But for him to finish third place in that race, credit to you, Mr. Fabio Quartararo. Phenomenal. You have kept yourself in this championship as opposed to that Yamaha. Brilliant ride there from you. And we're going down to the last. And, if Pecco wins it, I'm all for that. I'm a fan of his. If Fabio wins it, I'm all for that. I'm a fan. It'll be more of an underdog story, to be honest. But, Pecco came from 91 points down. So it's brilliant. Listen, it's been absolutely brilliant, and credit to Fabio Quartararo because he withheld the pressure coming from Pecco Bagnaia, and he actually closed down on Pecco and Enea at one stage and was really going to make a race out of it, but just couldn't get there in the end. And at the end, you could see there were tears. He was in pain, but I think it was just tears of absolute exhaustion there from Fabio Quartararo. He did everything he could. Third place, going down to the wire at Valencia. He's got to just hope that some bad luck or something hits Pecco and Ducati, because it's really, like I said, one hand and four fingers on the trophy there for them. And that is it. We'll get more into depth about it in Talking MotoGP live on the Motor Rider World Facebook page from 8 p.m. South African time. So please join in. I'll put the link up Monday morning. It'll be up before 12, kind of midday. It'll be up, and then just click on that link and join in, and let's chat about MotoGP from Sepang, heading into the final race in 2 weeks' time at Valencia. And we've got a lot to talk about. Going to be a great discussion. So have a great rest of your Sunday. Have a great week, and I'll catch up with you all Talking MotoGP live Monday night, Motor Rider World Facebook page, 8 p.m. See you there.